One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
The moon landings have been a subject of fascination and controversy since Neil Armstrong's historic steps on the lunar surface in 1969. Even decades later, the debate continues, with various experts and public figures, including Elon Musk, adding their perspectives to the discussion. So, why does the moon landing remain such a hotly debated topic? And what does Elon Musk believe about it? Let's delve into the story behind one of humanity's greatest achievements and the enduring questions that surround it. Humanity's dream of reaching the moon traces back to the early days of space exploration. In the 1960s, amidst the backdrop of the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union engaged in a race to demonstrate their technological prowess and dominance. President John F. Kennedy famously declared in 1962 the goal of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth before the end of the decade. This ambitious vision galvanized the nation and set in motion the Apollo program, NASA's series of missions aimed at achieving lunar exploration. The road to the moon was not without its obstacles. Tragedy struck early in the program with the loss of the Apollo 1 crew during a pre-launch test in 1967. The devastating fire that engulfed the command module claimed the lives of astronauts Virgil Gus Grissom, Edward White, and Roger Chaffee, underscoring the risks inherent in space exploration. NASA regrouped, conducting thorough investigations and implementing significant design changes to enhance spacecraft safety. Subsequent missions, from Apollo 4 to 9, focused on testing and refining the spacecraft systems. Apollo 10, in particular, served as a dress rehearsal for the historic lunar landing, with astronauts orbiting the moon and conducting crucial tests of the lunar module. Finally, on July 20, 1969, Apollo 11 astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin made history as they set foot on the lunar surface, while Michael Collins orbited above in the command module. Their iconic words and images transmitted back to Earth captivated audiences worldwide, marking a monumental achievement for humanity. Despite the overwhelming evidence and public acclaim surrounding the moon landing, skepticism and conspiracy theories soon emerged. Critics questioned the authenticity of the lunar missions, alleging that they were staged by the US government as a propaganda effort in the space race against the Soviet Union. Various inconsistencies and anomalies in the photographic and video evidence fueled these conspiracy theories, leading to enduring doubts in some quarters. One commonly cited argument by moon landing skeptics is the absence of stars in the photographs taken on the lunar surface. In space, away from the glare of Earth's atmosphere, stars should be visible in the background. However, skeptics argue that the lack of stars in the Apollo mission photos suggests they were taken on a soundstage on Earth. NASA counters this claim by explaining that the bright sunlight and fast exposure settings used on the moon's surface made capturing stars difficult. Additionally, the astronauts' focus was on photographing their surroundings, not the distant stars. Another point of contention revolves around the purported lack of a blast crater beneath the lunar module's landing site. Skeptics argue that the absence of a crater contradicts the expected impact of a descending spacecraft. However, NASA scientists explained that the lunar surface, covered with a layer of fine dust, would have absorbed the impact of the landing, preventing the formation of a visible crater. Despite these explanations, conspiracy theories persist, fueled by skepticism and a distrust of government institutions. Over the years, countless investigations, analyses, and debunkings have attempted to address the skepticism surrounding the moon landings, yet doubts remain for some individuals. Elon Musk, the visionary entrepreneur and founder of SpaceX, has weighed in on the moon landing debate, expressing his belief in its authenticity. Musk, whose company aims to facilitate human space exploration and colonization, views the moon landing as a pivotal moment in human history and a testament to our ingenuity and determination. He argues that doubting the moon landing undermines the achievements of those who contributed to the Apollo program and the broader scientific community. In conclusion, the moon landing stands as one of humanity's greatest achievements, symbolizing our capacity for exploration and discovery. While skepticism and conspiracy theories persist, The overwhelming evidence and testimony from those involved affirm the reality of the lunar missions. Elon Musk's endorsement of the moon landing reflects the consensus among experts and historians, underscoring its enduring significance in the annals of human space exploration. Many people still talk about the moon landing even today, and some say it wasn't the last one. There are stories about secret Apollo missions, like Apollo 20, where people were sent to the moon by NASA. Some even claim that these missions found signs of alien life up there, but NASA has always denied these rumors, which only adds fuel to the moon landing hoax theory. Apollo 17 was the last official Apollo mission, way back in 1972. After that, NASA hasn't sent anyone else to the moon, and that's got some people wondering why. It's been over 50 years since Neil Armstrong's first steps on the moon, and things have changed up there. The American flag that was planted there has started to fall apart, even though it was specially made to withstand the harsh conditions on the moon. Plus, all the stuff left behind by the astronauts has been covered up by moon dust. This makes it hard to see where the actual landing site is when you look at the moon through telescopes or space probes. So why hasn't NASA gone back to the moon? Some say it's because we've gotten really good at studying it from afar, thanks to technology like the James Webb Space Telescope. With our fancy probes and telescopes, we can learn a lot about the moon without actually going there. Scientists at NASA and other space agencies are more interested in exploring other planets and parts of space. They're putting their resources into those projects instead of going back to the moon. Plus, the Apollo missions already gave us a ton of information about the moon. Neil Armstrong and his buddies brought back rocks from the moon that scientists have been studying for years. They even sold some of those rocks for a crazy amount of money. So there's not much left to learn from going back there. But what about all those people who think the moon landing was faked? Well, it's pretty hard to fake a live broadcast that the whole world watched. The technology back then wasn't as fancy as it is now, so the video quality wasn't great. But people all over the world were listening to the radio broadcasts from the moon, and they heard the astronauts talking in real time. Plus, other countries were tracking the spacecraft and congratulating the United States on their big accomplishment. Elon Musk, the guy behind SpaceX, thinks the moon landing was definitely real. He says if it were fake, the Russians would have exposed it a long time ago. Back in the 1960s, the United States and Russia were in a big competition called the Cold War. They were always trying to one-up each other, especially in space. The Russians were actually the first ones to land something on the moon, so if the United States had faked their moon landing, the Russians would have called them out on it for sure. So, even though we haven't been back to the moon since 1972, there's still plenty of evidence that the first moon landing really happened. And with other countries sending their own missions up there, it's pretty clear that the moon landing wasn't just a hoax. Some people think there's more to the moon landing story than meets the eye. Despite the success of the United States Apollo missions, the Soviet space program also had its fair share of moon missions, totaling around 23. But here's the thing, no one, not even a single whistleblower, has come forward to accuse the US government of faking the moon landing. If anyone would want to expose a fake, it'd be Russia, right? But they've stayed silent on the matter. Now, let's talk about those conspiracy theories. One of the big ones revolves around the flags planted on the moon. In some photos, it looks like the flags are waving, even though there's no wind up there. NASA says it's just the vibrations from the moon's surface and the way the flags were set up, but some people aren't buying it. Another argument is about the shadows in the moon photos. They don't always seem to line up right, which has led some folks to think the whole thing was staged in a studio. But NASA explains that it's just the way the sunlight hits the moon, and the cameras used back then weren't perfect. And then there's the issue of the videos. Some of them show astronauts walking slowly, while others make it look like they're bouncing around like they're on a trampoline. Plus, there's that time NASA got caught trying to pass off some training photos as the real deal. That didn't help their case at all. But here's the bottom line. Despite all the conspiracy theories, there's a mountain of evidence that the moon landing actually happened. The flags and plaques left behind are still there, and other countries have sent their own missions to the moon since then. And get this, Elon Musk, the guy behind SpaceX, says we're going back to the moon soon, and this time it's going to be even bigger. His company has big plans for space exploration, including setting up a base on Mars. But before that, they're aiming for the moon. So whether you believe in conspiracy theories or not, it looks like humanity's journey into space is far from over. If you enjoy our content and would like to stay updated, we'd be thrilled if you could hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to us. Thanks for your support.